So let's talk about nonprofits and how you get paid as a nonprofit owner. So there's a myth that says that if you were to start or create a nonprofit that there's no payment in it for you. That's simply not true. A nonprofit is pretty much ran similar to a profitable business. Let me give you an example. Say you have a profitable business. You have revenues and expenses. And just to let you know, salary is included in your expenses. So after you pay all your expenses in a profitable business, everything after that goes to shareholders and goes to the CEO. That's profit. In a nonprofit, you have the same thing, revenues and expense. It's just that we don't call it revenues. We call it program fees, we call it donations, we call it grants, we call it sponsor supports. So we don't call it revenue. So it's more like money's coming in, and then after you pay the expenses, there's no shareholders here in a nonprofit. So what happens is all the monies stay in the nonprofit. So the CEO do not get paid, and then there's the board of directors. I know what you're saying. If I was to start a nonprofit, you're saying that I won't get paid. Mm-mm. When you create a nonprofit, you become a worker in the organization. Your title will be an executive director. Yes, you have two titles. You have CEO, founder, and then you're the executive director. When you're the executive director, you give yourself that title, you give yourself roles and responsibilities, and you give yourself a salary, a yearly salary. See, if you work with me, we can work out how we create the nonprofit. We will also work with our board of directors. See, the board of directors are people that governs your organization. They make sure that you as the CEO is going to run the organization just like you said. And it's according to the mission statement that we set up. So, just a recap. You have a nonprofit business, and as a CEO, you don't get paid, but as an executive director, you do get paid. You get a salary, and you set the dollar amount according to your salary. But just like any business, there are ups and downs. But as an executive director, you set your salary because a nonprofit is not yours. You don't own it. The board of directors own it. And once it's created, once you have your board of directors, once you have your mission statement, then the board of directors make sure that you fulfill your mission statement. So before you get all of that together, you set your salary. How much do you want to receive yearly? I suggest 100,000. And what happens in a nonprofit is if you don't make 100,000 within the first 2 or 3 years, and say you make 100,000 in the fourth year, you get back pay. You get paid, the organization, the nonprofit owes you from the time you started because you're just an employee. You're an executive director. So yeah, you're entitled to your money. So that's how you get money as a person who creates and starts and works in a nonprofit. I hope that settles all the myth and all the explanations.